Bladeseed Studios come back at you with another video. This is going to be episode 2 of our Minecraft Hardcore Let's Play. So first things first, we're going to hop right into it with a build. I'm going to need some spruce and some of the new tough blocks because I thought that they would have a good design and I was going to build a wall here. So normally I would go with a little bit more of a bizarre and intricate design, but I wanted to keep this a little bit more simple because I just wanted this to be a starter base. I didn't really want to go above and beyond with this village. I just wanted to make a little town and then move along to another cool area in the world because most of the time people will just sit there and just stay in the spawn location. I don't want to do that. As you can see from me building along, this is going to be a very simple design. It's got stairs on the bottom and on top to give it more of a circular look, and I am using 4 or 5 tall spruce logs, and I end up shaving them down a little bit later on. I add stairs on top and lanterns hanging from the stairs to make it look all nice and pretty and lit up. And I forgot to mention I'm also using the tough blocks for the behind section of the wall to give it that stony look. I think I'm going to add in a little bit of more texture once I'm a little bit further along in the build as well. And I made sure to strip all the spruce logs. And then over on the other side of the village, there's this opening to where I didn't want to quite do the design that I was already working on, so I just did a real simple design with a zigzag pattern back and forth with spruce and birchwood. I did continue the wall on this side just a little bit, but up on the hill it was a little bit more complicated. That's why I went to this design instead. And once again, I'm going to go ahead and shave down all of this wood, and I'm going to add in a few minor details later on. But for now, this will do the job of keeping the mobs out, and this will also do the job of looking decent until I can add in a little bit more detail. I went ahead and finished the rest of the wall on this side, keeping the same pattern with the stairs. And during this time of thinking, I decided, well, I still need an enchantment table, so I decided to hop into the nether to grab the 4 pieces of obsidian, which is a nice handy tip. If you guys didn't know, you can go ahead and hop in the nether and steal the obsidian on the corners, so you only really need 10 obsidian. And then after that, I noticed that I did not have any leather, so I went on a little bit of an adventure killing some animals until I found the absolutely glorious cows that handed me some leather, which was very nice because I needed a book for my enchantment table. I also picked some flowers, and then I found some more cows and slaughtered them. But anyways, I decided to run back home, and while I was running back home, I ran into this huge ravine with, well, I guess it's not really that big, but you know, it's still a decent sized ravine that I plan on exploring. So I took note of where its location was, but by the time I got home, I ended up creating my enchanting table and placing it upstairs where it belongs. And then I decided I wanted to go on an adventure, so I started cooking some meat, and I organized my chest while I was waiting for that to cook because I literally didn't have anything else better to do. But before that, I decided to go and get some tuff to go ahead and finish creating the rest of my wall because I ran out of tuff while I was in the middle of building it. So I created a mine shaft since for whatever reason I literally didn't have one. But anyways, I ended up finding a bunch of tuff and mined a boatload of it. I mined way more than I needed to finish the wall, but you know, that's alright. We'll end up using it again because it's a block that I wanted to build with. So I went ahead and finished off my wall using the tuff. Well, actually it's polished tuff, but you know what, it's basically the same thing. So anyways, I decided to add a little bit of cobblestone to help with adding in some wood, and it ended up looking good, and I wanted to use it as a pathway for the top of it. I made sure to add my lighting to the outside of this set of wall too and strip the logs, give it that nice finished look. So I went ahead and added the cobblestone pathway to the other side where the wall is as well. And then I came up with an even better idea after that. I added a layer with some fences on top of the cobblestone and another layer that's 1 drop lower using slabs with the tough blocks. So now I actually really have a pathway going all the way around, which is really nice. Now I don't have any ideas for the inside of the wall yet, but I'm definitely going to come up with something. That'll probably be a next episode thing. But after I finished those walls, I went ahead to the weird zigzaggy wall and stripped every single log going all the way through there, which was a little bit of a tedious task. I think I broke 2 axes during the process, but you know, that's part of building, I guess. So now that I was totally burnt out on building that wall, I finally got to going on my adventure, and the first thing that I run into is this random bee in the middle of the ocean. Like, what are you doing here, dude? It doesn't even make sense. And then I got greeted with a gorgeous view at the end of the night and land, which is what I was looking for. That ocean was massive. I also found a pirate ship right before land there, so I went ahead and looted it. There wasn't anything really good in there, but I ended up getting onto the land and exploring, and at this point I saw an Enderman, but there was a skeleton that started charging me once I made eye contact with the Enderman, so I just decided not to deal with it. While running away, I did find a golden apple and a golden silk touch axe in this abandoned nether ruins, which was a pretty cool find. At this point I do decide to dig straight down, and that is just due to the fact that I'm using chunk base to find a stronghold so I can go and steal all of their books. I'm just really lazy and didn't feel like collecting enough leather to create a bunch of bookshelves. It just takes forever to do that. So I continued exploring until eventually I ran into a library, which was really nice. So I used that silk touch axe that we previously picked up and decided to go and look for the chests, which did contain some armor trim and a decent enchanted book. It was Sweeping Edge 3 and Protection 3. However, moving forward, we did end up finding some diamonds because this stronghold was very weird. It was just never set up properly, so I ended up mining those diamonds. I believe I got like 10 in total while I was down here. It would have been more if I went down and explored this ginormous cave, but I heard a skeleton, so I turned around, took him out, and then I went and took another look at the cave, and I decided that it was way too big for me to explore. The stronghold was really big and really confusing, so I didn't want to get lost exploring the cave as well. This stronghold ended up combining with like a mine shaft, and it was just really hectic. I found a second library, but I never ever found the end portal. This place was just such a labyrinth with the stronghold and the mine shaft combined. I even ended up finding a spider spawner, but no end portal. But anyways, I went back to the surface and I heard these phantoms swooping down at me when I was collecting some obsidian, and it became a scary battle, so I decided to quickly pull out my bow and do some sniping. I'll never forget when this nightmare fuel was added to the game. I hated these things and I still do. But anyways, after that long battle, I ended up going all the way back to my home base. I had to cross the ocean again, which obviously we know took forever. Not that you guys know, but I know. Damn, editing took it down to like 30 seconds, if that. But anyways, I ended up getting all the way back over to my house. I noticed the sugar cane, and there's some villagers stuck up above, which was kind of cool for me. Now, I did want to go over the fact of a little bit before I went into the stronghold, I ended up going into a trials chamber because it was very close to my house. I totally forgot to add it in the last episode, but the last episode was already kind of started to stretch it. So I started tackling the trial chambers and smashing some pots, going through the spawners. I don't know too much about these, so it was a little bit tricky trying to figure it out, but ended up getting a couple keys and some loot, which was pretty cool. One of my first spawners actually gave me a trial key, and then I also got to see the new mob, which is also pretty damn cool. Throwing wind burst and gust at you and knocking you up in the air. He didn't do a lot of damage, but mixed with skeletons and him attacking me, it was a little bit of a hectic battle. I didn't mean to spawn as many enemies as I did, but with rewards always is nice. I ended up finding a couple of the locked trial chests to go and get some loot, which I never got anything too crazy, but I did get a diamond chest plate that was pretty cool, and I did get a couple of the basic loots like arrows and iron. Next on our to-do list is the Nether Fortress. I needed some blaze rods really quick, so once again I just used chunk base and mined a straight line from our portal all the way over to the Nether Fortress and started exploring. One of the first things that we ran into was a blaze, so I made sure to take him out real quick and then check the chest that he was guarding. There was some gold and some gold horse armor. But now I just really want to take a moment to appreciate this area. This is an absolutely beautiful Nether Fortress area, especially with the shaders. Everything's just really popping out there and really just look at that. That's the perfect Nether Fortress. But anyways, once I got done admiring this entire area, I found the blaze spawners, which were pretty easy to see. I took out enough blazes to get enough ender eyes to be able to go to the end. Cutting back to our humble abode, we did put our bookshelves down from the stronghold and decided to do a couple enchants. But I think that's gonna cut it for this episode, folks. I thank you guys for watching. I appreciate every one of you. I'm Blade Seed Studios, and I'm out.